Wheel of Fortune.
Cinderella.
Oh no. Oh no.
Oh my.
No.
Where do we even watch this? We should have audited the list way more than we did.
Oh no. It's on the list.
Oh my gracious.
Now I'm pissed and I want to watch CinderElmo.
Let the record show, Your Honor,
Your Honor!
that Fortibus said specifically she wants to watch CinderElmo of her own free will and volition. Not violation.
Jota Zeta and Fortibus.
Watching Cinderella.
But it's actually CinderElmo.
'Cause it's Sesame Street.
Ta-da!
Thank you. You can hold your applause. We have a lot to get through, kind of.
Ish.
So tonight we got to watch the TV movie CinderElmo.
As I just want to preference for the audience here, we are both adults.
We are.
You know, established adults.
Yeah.
And you know what we decided to do tonight? Not us. The wheel decided for us to do tonight.
We sat down and watched CinderElmo.
That is correct. And I'm not gonna lie, we were kind of excited for it.
Yeah, we kind of got into it. When we first saw it, we're like, oh.
Super disappointed.
I was like, oh, really?
I was like, I can't handle another If the Shoe Fits right now.
I think it's just a little too much. I don't know if we can do that. But it was nothing like that.
You know what? We took a break to eat dinner before the movie, and by the time we came down, we were like, I'm genuinely excited to watch CinderElmo.
Yeah, I got the song stuck in my head. I want to set to the left and shake, shake, shake.
Step to the right and shake, shake, shake. I wish I could memorize the Cookie Monster song, though.
I do want to look at the lyrics so I could do his little bit.
He had very well structured and rhyme. Someone put a lot of thought into writing the Cookie Monster's little bit.
That's kind of what I wanted to talk about, because most of the time when we talk about these films, we talk about what's the plot and everything. This show knows that you've seen Cinderella. It knows that you know the story of Cinderella. It is not going to waste any time to do its Sesame Street Muppet shenanigans.
There is no build up straight into the story, and because it's a children's show and so many kids know the story of Cinderella, I feel like this version was, I'm going to teach you the morals and lessons from Cinderella, and was very on the nose about it.
Yeah, it's almost as if it was made for very small kids.
Well, we learned at the end of the movie that Elmo hasn't even passed kindergarten yet.
He can't get married when he's 3.
Which I feel like that's such I mean, it was funny and everything, but just the fact that the princess was knows that he's a little baby and was like, I choose him to marry.
Yeah, that is kind of funny.
You know what I mean?
But she was under a lot of pressure, and the movie makes it clear that she was under a lot of pressure. I'll just pick whoever.
True. And her main criteria was the best dancer.
And to be clear, he was the best dancer.
He was. He could do the water stuck in the ear dance the best.
And then he came out on the dance floor and he just rocked it. He was just going,
which is really funny because it's just Elmo, and I feel like you can't actually see his body move very much. So it just looks like his body's going shake, 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 shake. It's kind of like Kermit's
yay!
Yeah.
Yeah.
And everybody goes crazy for that crap.
It's true. When a Muppet does it, it's just a little bit more special.
It's just so special.
It's the magic of the Muppets.
Yeah.
But let's talk about this. There's lots of jokes in there for adults.
Agreed.
The first guy that you see, they picked the right person. He's grumpy. He's just well, no, it's not all well. Which is kind of how, as an adult, I felt like I would have gone into this with oh, I'm watching CinderElmo. I'm not happy with this. He's not happy with this. I'm not relating with this guy. And then Grover's gonna be sir, this is a Wendy's.
This is Wendy's. I definitely, when we saw the old grumpy guy, I was, they're trying to psych me out because he's totally Scrooge. It's 5 a.m. and all is well. For some reason, just makes me think of Scrooge and goodwill to all. Or what is the Tiny Tim's?
God bless us, everyone.
Yes.
And even though this was a movie that was made 20-ish years ago, 30-ish years ago.
30-ish years ago, yeah.
Oh, gosh dang. I was excited to see which Muppet would show up next. I was excited to see Grover wearing different hats.
Yes.
I'm also the mailman. I'm also this.
He's like the King's Royal Blue Monster. Anyways, that was incredible. I want to circle back, actually. I don't know what you said, but I know what I want to talk about.
Let's go with that.
How this film was very on the nose.
Yeah.
You know how Cinderella goes. I'm just going to tell you the story. And a lot of that, I think, goes with the main song, which we talked about a little bit while we were watching the movie. When the fairy god person...
Frank.
Frank.
I'm gonna start doing that now. Next, like the lucky roll, I'm just gonna be like, come on, Frank, please.
Come on, Frank. Help me.
Please, Frank, come on.
And especially because he apparently is always watching over you due to that voiceover at the end.
Just like your fairy godmother is watching over you.
No, fairy god person.
Fairy god person, excuse me.
But I loved his song. I can't remember the exact lyric right now. If you have a dream, the best way to do it is to do something.
If you gotta do something.
You have to do something. I just think that's so funny because Roger and Hammerstein's Impossible song, sung by Whitney Houston, is all about nothing is impossible. The only reason it's possible is because you're putting limits on yourself. Dreamers are silly because they're not like taking control of their lives, and you can do whatever you want and accomplish your dreams. But that might have been a little too advanced for this audience. They chose lines that don't rhyme at all, don't sound good together. It really is just a cacophony of sounds for the ear. If you want to have a dream, do something. Of course his fairy god person was named Frank, if that's the song he came up with.
Exactly. It not only fits the character, it not only fits the audience that is being told to, but it also, I think it doesn't rhyme on purpose. I think it has like a whimsical start and then it cuts into like do something. Be practical.
Do you feel that was on purpose, or do you feel like the writer's room got lazy and they were like, we're making a Cinderella movie, we have copyright, so blah 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 blah.
Well, that's the thing. As I was watching the film, I was wondering what their mindset was. I don't think anyone went into this thinking, man, we have a vision for a Cinderella movie that we really want to hit home.
Yeah, and I doubt the 4-year-old crowd target audience was demanding a CinderElmo.
Correct. They're not going to. But at the end of the day, it's to make kids happy. You don't have to do a whole lot to make kids happy. You just have to say, I am Steve. And apparently people freak out. That being said, I do think they went in there and they are like, let's just Muppet-fy this. Let's have as much fun as we can with as cheap a budget as we can.
Oh my goodness, the budget must have been so cheap. Like all the buildings were like made out of paper. There was how many? 3 sets total?
There were only 3 sets.
And they were very small.
It was a TV movie.
True.
And you have to also film with the Muppets, so you have to have those places down where the puppeteers can go and operate. And then you have to get your celebrity cameos, which not a lot of big names in this one.
Well, I mean, Carrie Russell, star of Austin Land, one of the best movies ever made. Are you about to tell me right now you don't know what Austin Land is?
I cannot convey through voice alone how blank my face is. I don't know what Austin Land is.
It's like a white sheet of paper I'm staring at, blank, nothing on it. I know Carrie Russell can be an enthusiastic actor. She has found more success in like some more serious roles. Like she was in that one TV show where she played like Russian spies.
Is that where I know her from?
Maybe. I don't know what you do in your spare time. Watch CinderElmo, I guess.
If it came up on the YouTube feed, I think I would watch it.
10 reasons why CinderElmo is the best Cinderella story. I gotta click on this one.
Oh, that's gonna be on our channel.
What is number 1?
Everyone's happy. Who goes into a Cinderella film thinking, oh, I don't want to see the abuse, or the stepsisters are just gonna be a little mean, and they're gonna be mean in that way that reminds you of someone growing up. Not this one. You gotta dust. Elmo loves dusting.
Elmo does love to dust, and the step brothers are totally happy and encourage him to go to the ball.
They are, and one of them doesn't even want to get married and overcomes his mother's expectations.
Which is another important lesson for children to learn, but I feel like that one is more geared to the single parent who is watching their child watch CinderElmo.
Yes, and then Brother Bear had his chance, and he did not do it as well. But it fits with Brother Bear's character because Brother Bear in Sesame Street has always been, he's the more arrogant one. And it's played for laugh. I didn't laugh as much. I didn't think it was as funny as Sully being like, oh gosh. But that's the type of Muppet that he's based off of is the I'm super unsure of myself bumbling guy. What did they decide to do when they made this movie? Because I don't think anyone wanted to come in and make it, but I think they wanted to make it their own. And they got two big names for the time, Kerry Russell and French Stewart. French Stewart from who all know from Third Rock in the Sun.
Yes, and Kerry Russell, who at this time was known from Felicity.
Oh, she's from Felicity.
Yeah, she's the main character.
Oh.
I had no idea I was such a big Kerry Russell fan until I'm spitting all these facts.
It's amazing. I really only know Jeremy Stewart.
Jeremy Renner.
Jeremy Renner. French Stewart from Third Rock in the Sun, and then he was also in Time Splitters.
Both of these are nerd references that I am not picking up on.
It might not be Time Splitters. It might be Time Stoppers. It's the one where they have watches.
I have seen that movie.
Yeah, he's the student that grows up 20 years living in the time bubble. Because he's trying to spend 20 years to try to figure out how the watches don't do that.
Is that also a TV movie?
It is not a TV movie. It is a Nickelodeon movie.
It kind of seems that these types of movies are like his vibe then.
A little bit. He always has that same character role. His eyes are super closed, his lips are super pursed, and he says kind of like the funny thing.
Yeah, very eccentric.
I'm a dog, you're a dog, and you're trying to be human. But here's the small little details of everything that makes me think that while this wasn't their first choice, I think that they wanted to run away with it and make it good. They put a lot of CGI to make the dance with Elmo and the princess magical.
I honestly think that's where all their budget went.
It probably did because CGI was expensive back then.
Yeah, cut to when they did the repeat dance scene to do that one CGI.
Whenever French Stewart is on the screen, you can see him making dog motions, looking left and right. He's always trying to scratch his ear. And even when the camera's not focused on him, he's doing those motions.
And I also think like the costume design alone, like even the collar was a bit on the nose and I didn't really like it, but like it is for 4-year-olds. I have to remember. When you mentioned like his belly is even incorporated into the costume, you can see where his like dog tummy lies.
Yeah. Someone was in there like, what will a dog suit look like? What if you turned a dog into a human? What would their suit look like? And they're like, belly? They'd have to have a belly, right? Yeah, they would.
Obviously, if your fur is turning into this magical suit, conceptually, 100% makes sense.
It does. Well, we can also talk about the other main actors in the movie. I think Kerry Russell is really the only other one.
Well, the stepmother, I feel like I know her from somewhere.
I do too, but she seems like she's trying to ham it up. I don't think that she's a face actor very much, and this one doesn't give her a lot of moving around. When she's smiling, she's good, but she has to look concerned. She has to look angry and despondent, and she can do those looks on her own, but when she has to like swap to them, I think it's a little jarring.
Yeah, I feel like movies like this that are for like a simple audience and are supposed to be clear, like that overacting is really strong. And like that's what you want, like that, like I feel like the stepmother overacted really well to like emphasize her emotions, that they were very clear, because like this movie does not run on subtlety. And like the reason I was talking about Kerry Russell so much is like because I know she can act, I know she can be serious, I know she can have fun, but she was straight faced, she was bland. Well,
she was supposed to be the perfect princess. That's why her writing was the way it was. And this is another reason why I think that they really did focus on it. When Sully approached and was like, well, my mother really wants, like, I'm really excited for this. And it's like, well, are you going to ask me something? And everything like that. The conversation was treated seriously in a writer's room. Maybe it was Kerry Russell. She sat down and she's like, listen, if I'm going to be bland, I might as well have this conversation. But it also worked, again, with Sully's character from Sesame Street, the way that works. Brother Bear, the way that works. Grover being in every situation and making jokes, that's where he works the best. The King's an original character. The Queen is based off of someone else on Sesame Street, one of the more adult Muppets.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure that the grumpy guy is a grumpy guy that shows up on Sesame Street like every once in a while.
Some of the characters that we like and we love were kind of plain. Like Big Bird was just in the room, but we didn't get to see Big Bird's personality. The Count did play like a little bit more of a role in this movie, but he is just emphasizing the countdown to midnight and everything. But now as we've been talking, it kind of clicked in my head something that you mentioned earlier about how some of the characters are made intentionally plain so that the Muppets can stand out. CinderElmo is the star of the show.
And in a TV show like this, a TV movie like this, you don't have that much time, and you do have to get through your story. And they were taking it seriously where they needed to hit the notes. They also decided not to go into why the stepmother was mean, why she was able to put him in a cloak and then hang him up.
Correct.
And why the guard didn't even notice it, even though he would have seen the whole thing happen. He just goes, all right, I'll just put it up.
Also correct. Or why the stepmother has 13 locks on her door.
Okay, that was actually brilliant.
It was hilarious, but why does her house lock from the outside?
It doesn't make any sense.
What werewolf child is she protecting?
But that was what makes it such a good joke. Because Cinderella's not supposed to go to the ball, and they're leaving the house, and so she locks the house with 13 locks so she can't possibly escape. It's an over-the-top Muppets thing.
Unless you have a dog bowl chariot that can magically fly through walls.
Because it's that part of the movie in which we need to go through the sky.
To the sky and the stars and whatever CinderElmo sings later.
I believe that this is actually a perfect example of literal storytelling versus figurative emotional storytelling.
Oh yes, please bring that in CinderElmo.
Yeah, well, think about it. It's not supposed to be taken exactly literally. Of course a carriage can't go through a wall. Of course they don't have 13 locks to lock people inside of a house. Of course not everyone disappears during a small dance number and the same scene doesn't repeat 3 times. Of course a princess isn't actually going to say, I want to marry the little 3-year-old monster.
I can't get married. I haven't finished kindergarten.
Married before kindergarten?
I have so much to say about that.
That it's a major red flag, or this literature.
It's a major red monster.
Oh my goodness.
The most famous red monster in all the world, one could say. I really liked it. It's emotional storytelling, though. Things are not meant to make sense. You know Cinderella, we're moving through the steps, and we're mixing things up to keep things fresh. There's a fairy god person. He kind of doesn't want to be there. He wants to be there, but he doesn't not sure what to do. He's frank, he's figuring it out. His arc is super quick. He's a temp.
And has a his dance number was very lackluster.
And he was just killing time with his leg swinging motion.
This is a simple step kick. Do you like it?
Yeah!
It's good for killing time.
Oh, cool!
He didn't want to be there. The parents who are watching this movie don't want to be here. He was there for them.
Well, he did. He did want to be in it. I mean, he wanted to help CinderElmo out for sure. But he's the person that when you call, like say you're working with your mother and your mother asks, what's the task manager on the screen? Now, you and I obviously know what that is. But if you asked someone else and they're like, what does that mean? And they're like, oh, I don't know. That's not my department. That's not my jurisdiction. I'm not sure. I'm just here today to cover for someone else. That's the vibe he gives off. Like he wants to help. Because he also gives address to Zoe and he turns Prince into a prince, which is also a funny bit of wordplay. Oh yeah, you never even mentioned that. Zoe's never explained.
Yeah, actually, that really, really bugged me. Is in the beginning, they're like, once upon a time, there was a red little monster named CinderElmo, blah, 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 blah. And then they paint a scene and you walk, like, the viewer's taken into their bedroom and it's CinderElmo and then another Muppet who is never addressed ever. And it irks me so bad because they're like, Elmo, dust. But Zoe is helping him and doing all of these things. Like, is she a maid? Is she the forgotten daughter? Is she just like a figment of Elmo's imagination? Is like...
That'd be trippy.
Like, that's the thing. It's just it really irked me that they were like, CinderElmo. And I know it's Sesame Street, so it needs to be positive and happy. But I feel like a key feature of Cinderella is that she's kind of lonely, but she takes love where she can get it, but she doesn't have anyone so close that's sleeping in the same room in a bed right next to her.
That's true. Maybe Zoe was there to soften the blow. Something we're not going to see in other Cinderella movies, oddly enough, is that CinderElmo was so energetic and positive that it almost doubled back on like, oh no, you poor thing.
Yeah, like I didn't feel that at all. Like I didn't even feel like the stepmother obviously doesn't want Elmo to come to the dance because he's the best dancer and will distract the princess from her other children. Not bad for Elmo. Like Elmo's like, oh, I wanted to go to the ball. Too bad.
Well, the thing is, like, I kind of do feel bad for Elmo because Elmo doesn't know he's in a bad way. Most people don't know that they're in a bad abusive relationship. That kind of fits. I don't think it's a metaphor or anything.
Oh no, yeah, they did not. It was not that deep.
I think someone just thought it was like it would be a little bit funny. Like, oh, we can't be that harsh. We could just have Elmo like it. Okay. All right. But I do think it doubles down. I think that when the moment when the stepmother says, no, you can't go, like right before all the locks happen to remind you it's a funny show again, where you see Elmo like button down. That's the first time you see him like, I've done everything I can. I'm so happy to do it. I even learned the dance while I've been doing the rest of my chores. And then that's the only down point emotionally in the movie. And the movie stops enough for you to feel that before it goes right back to, okay, we got to move on with the next thing. We're back to being a funny joke.
Yeah, I guess like now that I'm remembering, I did like another down point was when Elmo said he couldn't go to the ball because he was too dirty and he didn't look nice. Like maybe it's just because I'm an adult and I think Elmo is just so precious and cuddly and cute that I was like, you're not too dirty. And like obviously that's the emotion that they want you to feel, but I also like, I know Elmo's character is to be so happy, but I also feel he was so happy to deal with everything and even to dust because they want to teach kids that listening to their parents is an okay thing. And also when your parents tell you to clean, you should clean.
Probably.
They don't want to like give you this negative attitude around like cleaning.
My thoughts on the eagerness and what with parents, listening to parents, I think that might be a part of it. And I think that the stepmother is evil enough as she needs to be to make the plot happen,
just to make the plot happen, but nothing more.
Yeah, but she's more played off as like silly and dopey and spying. We like that she was spying.
I love that she has a full-on telescope perfectly aimed at the castle. Like she could be selling state secrets for all they know.
Stop selling state secrets.
Who are they selling it to?
Whoever they're gonna lease the kingdom to.
I don't know!
Again, even like the stakes of the movie is like it's the law that will lose the kingdom and the king just takes that for granted.
Yes.
We also learn a lot about the stepmother's character in that scene alone. We can see that she's spying, she wants to get in, or she wants to get her children in, and she's willing to dive into some depths. This is back when no one had Amazons or Alexas or our phones listening to us, so this was more of an invasion of privacy. It's a nice little shorthand to establish her character quickly because we gotta go because we only have 40 minutes, baby. 44 minutes, well, like 4 minutes of credits.
Not 4 minutes.
Maybe like 42 minutes.
Oh, look,
I was right. But I think that they went out of their way to try to make it better, but they probably didn't have time to make it some sort of like grade A masterpiece. It's no Muppet Christmas Carol or anything quite like that. And again, you also have to aim it toward younger children. But there's small subtleties, and then they also get to have their scenes with Bert and Ernie. Love
Bert and Ernie in this movie. I have never seen like, you know, in classic films when two guys are going after the same girl, they fight, they have like it impacts their relationship when they decide that like bros before hoes doesn't actually mean anything. And the same thing with like girls and everything, but they were so supportive of each other getting the princess.
You know, the whole thing I remember thinking was so wholesome when it comes to looking at dating. It was, we're supporting each other. We want you to succeed. You're gonna go live in a castle. Oh, but that means you get to move out. We have to move on with our lives. And then their decision was, well, if that's what happens, that's what happens. And then Bert remembers that living with Ernie isn't always fun. Because that's Bert's character, and that's what's funny about Bert.
The only thing that like rubbed me the wrong way which I don't know why, is like when he said, it's our patriotic duty to go woo this princess. Like, obviously, like, it kind of is because they're gonna lose the kingdom, but like that joke did not land for me, and I don't know why.
Because who thinks it's their patriotic duty to date somebody, essentially?
Like, sexist, I feel like.
Maybe it's
We need to make Republican motherhood happen, which was a real movement when after America was just founded.
I know. I believe that. I honestly, that happens all the time with small countries, and but I think that it was more of just like a joke of, oh, we have to go to the ball. I don't know if I want to go to the ball. It's our patriotic duty to go. That's the type of thing that I would say to a couple of people if we were like on the fence about something, and I'd come up with any reason to encourage them. You'd be like, come on, it's our patriotic duty. It's our job. We gotta go do it.
We gotta go so the kingdom of Sesame can continue on.
I did like how that first street was Sesame Street. And I was like, it's like a little cameo.
Yeah, and I like how it went over the street sign just like Sesame Street does.
Yeah.
I think that's really, really funny. If you are ready to move on, how did you feel that the gender swap impacted the story of Cinderella? Because that was one of the fresher ways that they turned it up. Of course, Elmo has to be the main character. It's Sesame Street. But it's very fun because when this like first came on, like if I had Sesame Street and Elmo, I would have thought it's Cinderella from the prince's perspective and the prince is Elmo.
I think maybe that's why Zoe was dressed up in the way that she was. Maybe she was from an earlier draft where she was Cinderella. And someone pivoted and said it fits better with CinderElmo.
Because of the
because of the name.
It sounds like Cinderella, so we should do CinderElmo.
Elmo's more popular.
Yeah.
Up with the patriarchy.
Yeah.
More money for our TV movie for children.
Yes.
As for what they did with the gender swap, I thought it was fine.
Something that I was kind of gearing to when asking this question is a lot of people argue that the Cinderella story is basic because it's about a woman who goes to the ball to get a man. And I will die on the hill that Cinderella, her life dream wasn't to get married, it was to go to the ball and have fun. And this movie, I think, really encapsulates that Elmo is just a good dancer and he wants to go to the ball and dance with the princess and have fun. I don't believe that anywhere in the movie does he want to fall in love with said princess. And when princess goes, let's get married, Elmo goes, no way, Jose. I am 3. And then the king declares him to be 4.
How old are you? 3. From now on, you are 4. Which is the greatest thing. You always want to be older when you're younger.
Always. It was like such an honor to Elmo.
It's like, what, I'm 4 now? You can do that? Of course he can. He's
I
the
can
king.
do anything. Now I can get married because I'm 4.
Well, no, he wasn't getting married at 4 either. I hadn't gone through kindergarten. But you're right. Cinderella fundamentally is someone who basically puts themselves second in a situation where they're being put aside on purpose, maliciously. In some interpretations, not so maliciously, but maliciously put aside, even though she's a person of great inner strength and integrity, and it also happens to be pretty. But she's not really pretty because she's covered in cinders, Cinderella. But you have to remove the cinders. In the classic thing, it's like, oh no, she's pretty once you get all the dirt off of her.
She's pretty once you get all the dirt off of her.
Yeah, it's the classic teen movie trope. But the metaphor sticks, though, is they're covered up in dust and soot, and so you can't really get to see who they are. Even this one, the outward appearance is, oh, do you want to put the shoe on him?
Yeah.
And they played with that, which is like, no, because I recognize him anywhere. She sees through the soot. Serious moment. Look at that. Art.
Yeah, art indeed. I also love that because one of the other like Cinderella tropes is, well, how come the prince just can't recognize the princess? Like, you need a shoe to tell you who that is. And I like this one because the shoe was left behind. It was the king's decision to do like the shoe testing, and the princess knows who Elmo is. And I also think that tracks back to when Elmo says, I can't go to the ball because I'm dirty, I'm dressed in rags, I am not good enough. And Frank the fairy god person goes, no, Elmo, that's not what matters about you. What matters about you is your laugh, is your smile, is your personality, what's on the inside. And I feel like that was a theme, was a little bit more subtle, as a children's movie can be subtle, but I really enjoyed that like full circle connection.
I want to add something to that. Who told Elmo that he was covered in soot and that's the reason why he couldn't go, because he'd be laughed at?
Ooh.
The stepmother.
The stepmother. Because the stepmother says, Elmo, you're too dirty to come.
And then she lays it on thick. And so Elmo carries that with him. He's like, well, I can't go because of these reasons, because he believes what he was told.
Mommy issues.
Mommy issues. Wait. Society. The stepmother in this metaphor represents society, and that's what can get us sometimes, is we are told we can't do something because of the way we are, and we sit there going, maybe we can't, and then it takes someone from an unexpected source. Frank, you can do whatever you want, you just have to do something about it. I think this is an important part to mention in the discussion. We enjoyed CinderElmo, and we're talking as if we're normally talking because we had a lot of fun with it. I think there's a lot of art in this movie, but I also think that it knows it's 40 minutes long. It needs to get through itself. And while it does Sesame Street it up a bunch, it does also try to take the story as seriously as it can to make all those points in there. I think the actors are taking it seriously. They understand their roles. French Stewart, you're a dog. You're the right person for the job. And I forgot her name already. Carrie Russell, you're a perfect princess. Be perfect.
Yeah, I definitely agree. There's a lot of intentional choices in this movie. It's very intentional to break the fourth wall, to make sure that the parents are engaged. Frank is very intentional because he shows a non-perfect version of the fairy god person who is still able to get things done. It shows kids that all they really have to do is do something. It has conversations with the stepbrothers about what they actually want to do. And so there are very intentional choices in this movie, but after we finished, I turned to Jota Zeta and I said, I don't know if I have anything to say. Like, it was simple, I enjoyed it, and now it's done, and now I want to move on.
Kinda, yeah. I think it was well made. I think that they were trying to make it worth someone's time if they watched it, but I know that they probably weren't thinking that they're going to make the next big thing, and I think they were okay with that.
Yeah, correct. I feel like this movie isn't made to make an impact like a lot of other Cinderella films that we've watched so far.
Altogether, I'm not sure if I have much more I want to say about it. I think it tried to use it had a small budget. It tried to use it as best as it could. I do think that it doesn't age very well. The effects are pretty typical of the time. The background set is just a couple of boards, and it looks like it's straight off of Sesame Street, which is
what it's going for. But this is definitely like the VHS tape that your grandma brought to the cabin and left there, and you watch it when all the babies are screaming and crying.
Yeah, or like, let's put this on for 40 minutes to have you do something else. But these movies are kind of little gems, though.
Which, to your point earlier, like, these sets are probably way more expensive than we think because of the way they have to build it for the puppets.
And again, I think they're doing a good job. The movement, if you didn't know about how like there's a bunch of holes and a bunch of like planks of wood that people have to really walk carefully on, I think that's fine. Again, the production I think is not so great. The extras at the beginning were super not into it.
So not into it. Honestly, the extras during the dance, like the ones that were dancing were pretty fine, but the guards in the back, I got distracted trying to see if they were just like drunk, blank-faced, if they blinked, if they were there or green screen.
Yeah, they were pretty bored, which is fine. It's probably just their night job. They're like, I'm a janitor. Just stand there and like, all right.
My wife works for this film. She just needed an extra. She put me in this getup.
It's Carrie Russell's boyfriend. Just sit there going, I was supporting the girl. Yeah.
Yeah, whatever.
I just wanted to race sports cars.
Okay, so are we ready for our questions? Number one, is it a Cinderella movie?
Yes.
Yeah.
It is absolutely a Cinderella movie.
Has all of the tokens evil stepmom, the shoe, trying it on, the dancing.
I think it has the soul of a Cinderella movie. I want to achieve a dream, but everything's holding me back, and now there's this one big chance I'm not going to get because of cruel intentions and a non-belief in myself because of those societal pressures, and then it's overcome by Frank.
Totally a Cinderella movie, hits all of the markers. Now, where does it rank?
So we have to talk about it as Cinderella movie and then as a movie. As a movie, it's good, but it's held back by its budget, its time, and its TV movie. It's not. I feel bad for grading it lower because it's not its fault, really.
Yeah, it's just not a Muppets movie.
It's not a Muppets movie.
You know, but if you can't have a Muppets movie, it's not a bad replacement.
I would put it as a movie. I guess I'd give it a solid B. The only thing that's holding it back is the technical stuff and the extras, and sometimes it is a little hard to understand what Elmo is saying.
I would also say like a B. Like if my children wanted to watch CinderElmo, I don't think I would be totally opposed to it.
I would like them to see it. If I had to introduce kids to it, this is the most tolerable and most entertaining Cinderella movie that I would watch with kids. So as a movie, I call it a B. As a Cinderella movie, I think that the romance element and the escape from it, technically it happens here. Let's go all play at the castle.
The ending is very underwhelming.
We have no budget to do anything else with it.
And it's also a children's show. Like, what is better than everyone going to get to play at the castle? Everybody gets what they want.
As a Cinderella movie, it doesn't really dive into, again, it's all really subtle and it's all really for kids. I would have to grade it as a Cinderella movie. I think I'd have to put it average.
Yeah,
It's above If the Shoe Fits.
I like CinderElmo mostly because it is so straightforward with the true takeaways of a Cinderella story.
I would say I would rate it behind as a Cinderella movie, I'd rate it behind everything else just because it is shorter. It doesn't have the time to really delve into its concepts, but it is all there. It is very, very core. So I'm sure that any Cinderella movie that deviates too far is going to be underneath CinderElmo. CinderElmo might be the unsung champion of our movies so far.
It does hit all of our points. It has the shoe, it has the getaway, it has the dance, the dream, evil stepmother. For so much of it being different, of it being Sesame Street, of the gender swap, it really does stick to the Cinderella story. On the ranking, I totally agree. Ever After, Rodgers and Hammerstein's, 1950s.
Actually, I personally would rate it above 1950s Cinderella.
Oh, interesting. What is your reasoning?
My reasoning is that the 1950s Cinderella was a marvel of its time, but half of its plot, its way to choose to entertain kids was to give them two talking mice and to play Tom and Jerry. This one chose to be entertaining by making jokes and having Elmo go every little while, which I thought would not work on people like us being old and adult, but no, it does. It happens. If you would have told us this before we picked CinderElmo, and we're like, oh, Elmo's so cute, it's gonna get you. No, we would have like, no, I'm an adult.
Elmo's cuteness will not affect me.
But we sat down and gave it a shot, and yeah, it did. It gets you. It's infectious.
Yeah, and I see what you're saying there, because now that I'm thinking about it a little bit more, the king plays a major point in the plot of the 1950s Cinderella. He's the driving force and factor. Yes. And Cinderella is not the main character of the 1950s Cinderella. CinderElmo, however,
is the main character.
And the driving force of the plot is a little bit of the stepmother, but most of it is CinderElmo. He's the one that expresses that he would like to go to the dance, and what can he do to go to the dance. My hang-up, however, of putting it above the 1950s is the stepmother.
That's true. We're gonna have that little issue because the stepmother, Lady Tremaine, is really, really good, and she's a highlight of that movie. But if you also look at it, CinderElmo was the main character. You could argue that CinderElmo didn't do a whole lot at the beginning, but then once Frank told him to do something, he was constantly involved in the plot. Arc, lesson applied, great art. Cinderella had the crying godmother on the bench. Yeah, it's hard not to hate her, but she was hardly in it. She wasn't the main character. the story was kind of that main character. You understood that she was sad, and then it was the king, I think you could argue, was the main character who got everything he wanted, but the story's focus really should have been on Cinderella. But it's like, how do you do that with kids? You do that with mice.
Yeah, and I can concede to your point of logic. I really like how CinderElmo painted out the moral lessons for kids, way easy to understand. Those moral lessons are way in the backdrop for the 1950s Cinderella. Okay, you know what, JotaZeta, I'll agree with you this one time.
I think the only thing that would make 1950s more iconic is the fact that there's a dress and it's pretty, and then she dances with the prince.
True. Visually, it's stunning.
Visually, it is much better than CinderElmo. But if you gave CinderElmo that budget, I bet you that these creatives over there could have made it rock solid. But that is my values. I do value a better told story and a tighter script than I do over visuals, even though visuals do affect the overall point of the story. We laugh a lot at terrible CGI effects.
Yeah, and that fits with my values as well, because I love the character of Cinderella, and that's why Ever After is my favorite, because Cinderella is so passionate about life and argues, and I love how well of a developed character Cinderella is in Ever After and what she encounters. So I can't believe I'm saying this, because when the wheel chose CinderElmo, there's no way in the world I thought that I would actually enjoy it. But I think it goes Ever After, Rodgers and Hammerstein's CinderElmo, the 1950 Cinderella, and a bunch of space, and then If the Shoe Fits.
To say that 1950 Cinderella is one step above If the Shoe Fits is a terrible comparison, because If the Shoe Fits is awful. And I think that if you disagree with this ordering so far, if you've been keeping up with us and you think, oh, what? No, the 1950 one's higher. That's your nostalgia talking. You gotta put yourself away, look at it analytically, and you realize we're right. You
sit and watch that movie and you realize how much Cinderella is actually not in that movie.
That's all I have to say about that. CinderElmo, what a night. Oh, people listening might not understand you didn't understand what a VHS tape was before.
I had a VHS tape my entire life and childhood. I watched the Pride and Prejudice original 6-hour version on VHS tape. Anne of Green Gables is on VHS tape. So is My Fair Lady.
Thanks, everyone. I need to go. I need to go talk to Fortibus about what a VHS tape is.
I know what it is.
Thank you for tuning in. I hope you've enjoyed this conversation as much as we've had enjoying it. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And join us next time for when we watch another Cinderella movie on which we haven't decided yet.
Bye.
Laters.